2024 was certainly a wonderful year for Transformers figures, but it also wasn't a wonderful year for my bank account. Because for some reason, even though I've been collecting Transformers now for a fair few years, well, I decided to basically declare bankruptcy this year, and I have bought a lot of Transformers figures. And that doesn't seem to be slowing down, considering that this year is slated to be an absolutely heavy year when it comes to Transformers figures, and I've already spent a lot more money than I'm willing to admit to, but the collection requires it, so there we go. But even though I am wildly late to this video by about a month, I wanted to do a video where I ranked every single Transformer figure I bought in 2024. And what took so long, you may be asking? Well, I had an order delayed and I wanted it to be in the video, so I kind of put it behind for that reason. But that doesn't take away from the fact that I bought a lot of Transformers this year, and for the most part, I actually like all of them, so this list was actually very difficult to make. But, yeah, some are better, some are worse. So this is basically my list, but it could probably change depending on the day. But like I said, this is just going to be a video covering every single Transformer I bought for the year. And, like I said, the best to worst, and I'll let you know which one delayed this video. Spoiler alert, it was a 2-pack, because apparently that's what we do now, Hasbro. But yeah, the main criteria, I guess, I had for this video, honestly, it didn't really need one because this is just my personal opinion. And by the way, let me know which ones you agree and disagree with. But honestly, in my opinion, the only thing I judged it off of was how much fun I had handling it, the QC on it, how fun it was to transform, just little bits and pieces like that. So if you see one that's a bit lower than you'd expect or a bit higher, it probably fell down to one of those things. And I'll specify it for a couple of them, because a couple are lower purely down to QC, which I know isn't an issue, but this is my list, so have that. And also, I did want to take a couple of shots of every single Transformer figure, but I've got 49 entries on this video, so I simply didn't have the time to do it, so you're going to have to deal with the stock images. So my apologies, but if you do want to see a review on any of these figures individually, let me know. I've done a couple, but honestly, I do own all these figures just for reference. It's just much easier to use the stock images, and I don't have like 3 hours to film them all. But let's get into it. But that does start us off with our number 9 and my least favorite from the year. And, well, it's the Rise of the Beast Core Class RC, because, well, she kind of just sucks, and she needed to be a deluxe class. Also, this is where you're going to realize that there are figures in this list that weren't released specifically in 2024, but this list is every Transformer I bought in 2024, so that's why you're gonna see that throughout the list. But like I said, going back to RC, she kind of just doesn't really function well as a core class. I'm holding her right now, and she just, nothing really pegs in. The weapon is weird. She just proportionally is very weird. She really needed a deluxe class, and it's to the point where I wish that they do go back and do it, but I doubt they will. But yeah, that's the main thing for it. It's just she needed to be more than core. But let's go to the next one. But sticking with that theme, we are going to continue with the Rise of the Beast figures. Because, well, spoiler alert, this year I decided to really lean into the Bayverse figures. And while there's not a lot on there, and this is still majority like G1, but there are also a lot more Bayverse figures on here because I've really started to expand that collection. But yeah, the number 48, like I said, is Rise of the Beast again, and it's actually going to be Wheeljack. And that's because it kind of just functions weirdly. Like, little parts of the robot's wrong, like the windows are on the wrong way, or the doors more specifically are on the wrong way. He's got weird kibble, he poses weird, he's got a weird gun that's not even from the film itself. It's probably just concept art, but it's just a whole lot of weird, and it's one I bought basically just to fill out the collection, and that's the same really with RC. The other 3 Autobots are really the ones that I actually wanted, but like I said, he's just a weird one, and he's just not one I handle too often, so he's the number 48. The number 47 is actually going to be a G1 figure, way! And, well, it's probably the most disappointed I've been in a Transformers figure in a long time, and that's actually the Legacy Lockdown, because, well, it's just weird, and I'm just a little let down by it. The thing is that he's a retool of the, I don't remember the name of it, put the original version of the mold up, please. But the thing is that he's just weird, and my QC on him is absolutely terrible. he was just not fun to handle, and I just was very disappointed, which is a shame because he was an instant pre-order for me. But like I said, he just failed in so many ways, and I just never had fun with him. I was expecting to have a lot of fun out of a lockdown, so I was just so disappointed by it. So that's why he's number 47. Number 46, we are actually going to be going over to Kingdom, and that is actually for the Kingdom Warpath. And the problem with him is basically the exact same as my problems with Lockdown. It's just really weird QC, and he doesn't really tab in together properly. This is a my copy thing, clearly, but he just was a bit strange, and I just didn't, again, have a lot of fun with him, and that's coming from someone who loves tank Transformers. So it was one of those ones, again, where I was just overly let down. But again, it's not that I don't like him, and he looks great with my Autobots, but I just was hoping for more. So again, just another one I was disappointed by. And for the last one, I guess, are the ones that I was a little bit disappointed with. This is actually going to be going to the 86 RC. So she's going to take the number 45 because she at least has decent QC, my one, and I had a little bit of fun with her when I got her. But again, it was mainly just to fill out my 80s Autobot collection. And she was just one of those ones, again, which I just didn't have a lot of fun with. And she has that really weird thing where the chest keeps tabbing out, and she functions just weirdly. I don't know, I just don't really like it. I honestly wish I got the Thrillin' 31, to be honest with you. But again, just another one I was just a little bit let down by, which is just a shame. But would it be crazy to think that the number 44 spot is officially the first figure I actually like, at least to an extent? So the rest of them are actually figures I'd like, and these are all figures I do recommend. So this is going to be a little more positive at the very least. But we're going to actually start with the War for Cybertron Decepticon Trooper. And that's mainly because he took the barricade mold, which I honestly wasn't too mad at. Like, I actually got enjoyment out of that mold. But he took the barricade mold, and he actually made improvements on it. And I was very surprised. But he's actually somewhat fun to handle, which is crazy. The vehicle mode is definitely a downgrade, though, I will say that. But like I said, he's actually quite good, and if you're collecting the War for Cybertron figures, you're not going to be disappointed at all. And like I said, he's just fun. And funnily enough, I actually made a full review for this guy, and I scrapped it because I didn't like the point I was making overall. And I become a lot more kinder to the mold since. So again, he's good. I honestly think you should get him, and I think he's relatively cheap, so this is actually one I'd recommend. But the 43 slot is gonna be going to Legacy Skids, because I took a very long time to buy this one. That wave 1 of Legacy was really interesting, but I ended up actually skipping on Skids at the time. But I went back this year, and I finally got him, and he's kind of just boring. I don't know how else to put him. He's just a standard. Like, when you think of a car transformer, you think of Skids. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I actually think he's fun. But I do agree with the fact that all of his retools are just simply better. But I also don't own any of the retools. So it's one of those ones where it's like, on a visual basis, I just think Skids is the most boring. But handling the mold, it's a good mold. And Skids is still very cheap to get. So just another one, I guess, that's just not that bad of a pick if you did want one, but I understand why you would go for his retools. But that's the number 43. But the 42 is actually going to be possibly a bit of a controversial one, and that is actually going to be the Cosmos. And that is because, again, I think I became victim to the hype. I finally got Cosmos when they did the reissue in the wave just gone. So he's one of those ones where I'm glad I finally got him, but I think I was just expecting more because everyone else really enjoyed him. So it's a bit of a shame, to be honest. I was just hoping for more, but he looks great. I like him, he poses alright, and I do recommend him. I just think I became victim to the hype, so I don't know what else to really say about him apart from that. But he is good, get him, 100%, but he's just a bit low down. Number 41, though, we're going to be going back to the Bayverse, and that is actually going to be the Barricade for the 07 movie. And this is the 5-pack variant, so spoiler alert, the other 4 are also in this list. Well, all the 07 Decepticons are in this list for reference, but Barricade, he's a better paint job than the original release. I like the darker features, but I understand why people just don't like him. He's a fiddly mess, I gotta be honest. But standing him still next to all the other Decepticons, he's fine. I don't really think I would have been too happy paying much more than his retail price, but I got him in the 5-pack, so I'm not overly mad. So it's one of those ones where I'm just kind of happy with getting him, but also it's one of those ones I probably would have waited on getting. To be honest, I'm still hunting down that G1 one from Siege, so I'm kind of holding out for that one instead, and that will be my Barricade. But I like this Barricade. He looks good in the Bayverse collection. Just be careful when you're thinking of a price to buy him at. And for the number 40 slot, we have a bit of a classic. If you've been around the Weevee channel for a while, you will know that my first ever video was animated Bumblebee, and he is the 40th slot. And I'm going to be honest, I lightened up to Bumblebee. The original video, honestly, don't watch it, it's terrible. But but the thing is that I've warmed up to him. I'm very negative about Animated Bee in that video. But having him for just a while, I've just been like a bit more lighter to him. Like, I'm not mad. I am going to get the Waspinator, if that's any reference. But he's alright. You can get him for quite cheap. And I think if you get him for below his retail value, I think you'd be fine. But I think I'm still just a little bit sour with it over how I initially felt about it. And also the fact that I had to pre-order it. But also, he's not bad. I don't know. I've lightened up. I'm a much kinder Weevee. So, number 40, he could have done worse. If this was a while ago, he probably would have been lower. But for the number 39 slot, it's going to be the Bone Crusher from Studio Series, because I spent a lot of money on him. I could have bought the Masterpiece. Put it that way. I should have just bought the Masterpiece. But I've got him, and I got him Benib, which is nice. And he's alright, but he's just not worth the price that people are asking. He's just too much. I got him because I had the rest of the Decepticons from the 07 movie. And I was not getting the Nest one, just put it that way. Why wasn't he just in the 5-pack? He could have just been a 7-pack. But, I don't know, he's a bit too much for me to justify recommending him. Let me know if you want a review on him, because I have a lot to say about him. But he's one of those ones where it's like, it's a bit difficult to recommend him because of simply how much he costs. And like I said, you can buy the Masterpiece for cheaper. I think in the UK currently, I think you can buy the Masterpiece Bone Crusher from Game for like £80. And I'm fairly certain the Studio Series is more expensive than that. So take that as you will. He's at $39 for price alone. And also, he's a bit weird, Gorilla Arms. But yeah, moving on. But for the 38th slot, we're going to be going back to the Rise of the Beast figures. And we're going to be talking about Mirage. Because I paid a little too much for him. I paid not double retail, but I paid close to it. And he's one of those ones where, like, I've got him in hand literally right now. And I like him. I think he's an alright figure. But he's got a lot of problems. And he's very compromised because Porsche. But he's okay for what he's worth, I guess. It's just pay a fair price for him. I think there's that. And only get him if you're getting your Rise of the Beast collection. But he's not the worst, I guess. Like I said, every single one of these figures here, I'm okay with. It's just these are the ones where I probably just have like the odd problem or two. But yeah, get him if you're getting your Rise of the Beast collection. Or if you like Porsche, because the vehicle mode's great. But robot mode wise, he's just got problems. Yeah, just a lot of them. But sticking with Rise of the Beast, 37 is also going to a Rise of the Beast figure. And that is actually going to be Battle Trap. And that's for one reason alone. You have to stretch his plastic to transform him. I absolutely hate that. Other than that, he's great. He's got problems. But you're stretching his plastic to transform him. I hate that. Move on. But for 36... well, we're going to be going to the Prime universe, and this is going to be going to Thundertron, and honestly, I kind of hate considering him as a Prime character. I know he was in the books, and he's a Star Seeker, and he was in the original RID line, but I don't know, he wasn't in the show. It's a bit of a weird one to do, to be honest with you. It's one of those ones that I just wasn't expecting, especially considering, obviously, people want other Prime characters. I know people want a Prime Ratchet, a Prime Optimus, a Prime Bumblebee. Like, people want these other ones, but we're just not really getting them. But they made Thundertron, and he's not bad. I actually really like the pirate aesthetic, and also the vehicle mode is really good. But he's just a weird existence, and I kind of held off buying him. But I've got him now, and I'm not mad that I've got him. Also, because I paid below the price of a deluxe for him. But he's not the worst. I just think he's a weird existence. But then, obviously, he was in the Star Raiders line, so that's a bit better. But yeah, 36, he's not bad, but just weird. But 35 is another one that I found a little bit weird because everyone thought this was because of Fall of Cybertron, but not at all. It's going to be the new Quake, but obviously it's the G1 Quake, and like I said before, tank transformer, so I do enjoy him for that reason. The weapons are they're Micromasters, which are not the best. I don't really display them with those Micromasters. I actually display him with Skywarp's mace, which I think is a nice little addition for him. And also, spoiler alert, Skywarp's in this list. But I will say, he is a fun one. He's like a tank transformer, so he has that advantage. But like I said, he's just got weird weapons. So as long as you're okay with Battle Masters or Micromasters, and you're okay with maybe not displaying him with weapons, then definitely get him. But again, just another weird one, I guess. But the next one, which is going to be the 34 slot, is the other 5-pack that I bought this year. Or the start of it anyway. And that's actually going to be Trailblazer. Because I bought that Gen Select 5-pack with all the Autobots because, well, Earth Mode Hound, hey Diamond Bolts, I understand your rant. But the thing is that while it's a good figure, I do actually really like it. It's a really good improvement. But he's just one that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. I am glad I got him. But I just wouldn't have got him if I didn't have to have him in this 5-pack. Would I have replaced him in this 5-pack? In a heartbeat. And I wouldn't have replaced any of the other ones. So, for that reason, he's a little bit lower. But that doesn't make him bad. Although, speaking of a little bit lower but not bad, number 33 is actually going to the 07 Megatron. Because the paint's great. He poses alright. He's got very hefty legs. But I'm going to be honest, I don't like the weapons, and that kind of just soured my opinion of it. Like, he's got his mace, and that's all well and good, but I would have rathered his gun. So, again, I think I was just left a little disappointed. Like I said, I got in the 5-pack. But, yeah, let's just say I bought another Bayverse Megatron, and I just prefer it because of the weapon. But, yeah, he's not bad. I do think he's worth it, especially if you buy it in the 5-pack. But I think I just would have rathered his gun. But number 32 is another one that I think is going to be very controversial. And that's actually the Cyclonus that was again in that Gen Selects pack. So it's the one with the darker purple and the more red eyes and the stickers. I got that one because I preferred the purple over the Kingdom one. But he's this low because even though I had a lot of fun with him and he's possibly one of my favorite transformations, his QC is terrible. On my copy anyway. His arms can't even hold his gun. So it's just left the playability of him just completely gone. So that's why he's lower. I think if his QC was better, it'd be much higher. But I'm judging it based on my copies of the figures that I've got. So he made his way fairly up there and he holds his merit on what he's got. It's just, I wish his arms were better. And number 31, again, going to the War for Cybertron lineup. And this one is actually going to be going to Sideswipe. Because he's got his issues. I'm not a big fan of his feet. He's just got a bit strange proportions as well. But the thing is, he's quite fun. He's quite posable as well. Like the Photon Burst Rifle's nice. And the transformation is weirdly unique. I really enjoyed that transformation. And the vehicle mode's fantastic. But fantastic vehicle modes are a bit of a habit when it comes to the War for Cybertron figures. But this is a good one. He's a really good figure. I think if you want a cool Cybertronian Sideswipe, definitely get this one if you're not going for the G1 variant. But, well, the G1 variant is coming up soon, so clearly you know which one I prefer over the other. But this is a good one. This is no complaints from me. And this brings us to the 30 slot. And, well, here's the first of the 2-pack that made me wait. And it's actually the Prime Breakdown, because that Doom and Destruction pack took a very long time for me to get. But I like him. I actually do like him. I understand the problems, and the QC on mine is not the best, but this mold very much holds its own when it comes to being Breakdown. And I've got the bulkhead right here. I got the bulkhead when it first came out. But the thing is that the Breakdown almost fits it better, and I think they understood that because the hammer for Breakdown was always on the sprue. So they knew that they were going to make a Breakdown, and I think they kept it in mind because the Breakdown qualities are much more present. Obviously, you got the shoulder cannon, you got the military vehicle mode, you've got all these Breakdown aspects that don't really fit Bulkhead. But also, it does fit Bulkhead, it's weird. But I do like it. But again, QC in the arms, so that was a bit of a shame. But again, a nice one. The Doom Instruction Pack's quite good. Put it that way. And Needle Nose is very high up, to say the least. But yeah, number 30 is Prime Breakdown. Which then brings us to the 29 slot, which is the 86B. And I like it. It's nice to finally have a G1 representation of B that doesn't cost an arm. But he's good. I just didn't really handle him too much. I got him. I was appreciative of him. And then I displayed him. And, well, that was about it. I just never really touched him again. And that's not because he's bad. I just think he was just a bit boring. And I didn't have fun with the transformation either. But, again, he's not bad. He's not bad. And he looks great in the collection. But, I don't know. I recommend him. I do recommend him wholeheartedly. I think he's really good. It's just, for me, I just don't think I got the entertainment I was expecting. But yeah, he's 29. I thought I was going to be more positive, to be honest. B is good, may I add. But anyway, 28 is actually going to Hound from the 5-pack. And finally, we got the Earth Mode Hound. Again, watch the Diamond Bolt video. But he's good. He's actually really good. He's not my first experience, quote-unquote, with the Earth Mode Hound. But he's also still really good, because obviously you got Detritus, or, which is a whole nother thing. But he's good. He's actually really good. I just wish they released him individually, because people have to buy this pack just for him. And people don't need every single figure that's in that pack. Luckily for me, I needed every single one. But I feel bad for the people who didn't. So, unfortunately, he's good. It's just the fact that he has to be bought in the pack that brings him down for me. But yeah, let's just move on. But that does bring us to 27, which is going to be the Legacy Blitzwing. And well, I'm glad I waited this long to get him, because for a leader class, I paid less than a deluxe for him. Brand new. And for that, I'm happy. And he's really good. He's actually a really fun figure. It's just, I don't think I would have wanted to pay leader class for him. And I don't envy the task that the designers had to make a jet, a tank, and a robot. But they did alright. I actually like the vehicle modes. It's just, I wouldn't have paid leader class, so I'm glad I didn't. If I paid leader class, he would have been much further down. But he looks good in the collection. I think he looks really nice. He looks great next to Megatron and Starscream. So I will take that and run. It's just, I feel bad for anyone who paid more. But yeah, that's number 27. Also, I do apologize if this feels a little rushed. But I will say, there were a lot of Transformers to go through, and I don't want to spend like 3 hours talking about Transformers, because no one would want to watch that. But yeah, I'm just trying to keep it nice, brief, and concise. But like I said, if you do want any individual reviews on any of these characters, or any of these figures, please let me know, because I will do that, and then I'll talk about them more in depth. But anyway, number 26 is gonna be Brawl, and that is the 07 one to be more specific. And I actually really like him. I do prefer the Masterpiece. I think the Masterpiece looks absolutely amazing, and he might be the first Masterpiece I officially pick up. But the Studio Series Voyager is quite nice. I paid retail for it, which is also very nice. And it's just one that I'm not disappointed about. I think he looks great next to the 07 cons as well. So, nice figure. I actually do recommend it, because he's very obtainable. And if you do have a Bayverse collection, he'll definitely stand out. So, yeah. Also an amazing tank. But that does bring us to our number 5 pick, which is going to be the Wheeljack from that same 5-pack of Autobots. And, well, it's just an improvement. It's much more white. It's got the Allspark blue, which is a personal favorite of mine. But it's nice, it's concise. I've got my problems with the mold overall, but in terms of the mold itself, it's definitely the best variant of it. And that's the whole thing about that 5-pack. It's just, it is the best variant of all 5 of those characters. And you'll see where the rest hold up very soon. But, like I said, it's just another very good interpretation of Wheeljack, and it's definitely just the one that I wanted overall, because it's got the best colours. And even though the vehicle mode's a bit more plain, I definitely think it's one of those ones that it still benefits overall from the paint job that it does have. So, yeah, 25 Wheeljack. But number 24, in similar vein and sticking to that pack, it is going to be Sunstreaker. And I know a lot of people do have a problem with Sunstreaker, especially from Earthrise, but honestly, handling the mold now, I'm actually a really big fan of it, and I actually really do like it. It's obviously got a lot of similarities to Wheeljack. I do think one of them is a redeco of the other. I'm not entirely sure, but I do really like how Sunstreaker actually looks and feels, and he looks really good next to my Sideswipe, which, spoiler alert, he's coming up as well. But yeah, I actually really do think this is a good Sunstreaker, and the problem I have is that all 5 of these I do recommend, but then I have to recommend the 5-pack, which I just don't really know what to do about, because it's expensive and not a lot of people want to get that 5-pack, but it's good. It's good for what it has. So it is just a tough one. But like I said, I really do like Sunstreaker. He was definitely a standout for the pack for me. But this does then bring us to the number 23 and the number 22 slot, because I actually do want to make a video about these two. And it's actually Studio Series 102 and Studio Series 38, because of course they are both retools of the other, because obviously it's the Bumblebee movie Optimus and the Rise of the Beast Optimus, and it's a very big debate as to which one is better between the two. I have an opinion, but I'm not really firm on it. I actually do want to make a video where I talk about both of them anyway, but I do like both of them regardless. They're both very fun to handle. I got both of them around about the same time as well, but I did get 102 before 38. But the thing is, my 102 actually has a lot more QC issues than my 38 does. So it's one of those things where 38 for me has has a better QC, but 102 also has better posability. So it's been really weird. But as it stands, 23 is 102 and 22 is 38. But I do want to make a video talking about the two, but that's where they both lie. Although going back to what I was saying about Sideswipe, he is actually in the 21 spot, and it is actually the Kingdom variant of him with that Earth mode. And well, I did actually buy the 2-pack which has the Sky Warp, and the reason she's not in this list is because I haven't really messed with her enough. Even though I've had her for a while now, it's one of those ones that I just never really gave too much time to. And I know people like the Airazor mold, but it's just one that I haven't really messed with yet. And I don't even display her with the rest of my Beast Wars collection. So it's just one of those strange ones, but I do have the Sideswipe, and it's definitely the best interpretation of the mold. I know that mold's been done to absolute death, but this Earth mode Hound, or Sideswipe, sorry, is definitely the best of the bunch. So I really like it. It's a shame it's in a 2-pack. If you can get the 2-pack for a good price, the Sideswipe is fantastic. But the problem is that it does come with the Airazor. But I still really like the Sideswipe, so it's up here. But we are officially to the 20th spot, and we're slowly but surely approaching the top 10. And number 20 is actually going to be the leader class Scourge from Rise of the Beasts. And even though he is concept art to hell, and I do have a couple of issues with mine, I do really like posing him. He's actually really fun to have. He's massive, he's got that stature to him, and he's just a very imposing figure. So I really do like him, and I think it's one of those ones that I may eventually get the DNA upgrade kit for, but I actually kind of like it. I don't know, but you know, it's just a good one, and I know a lot of people have their issues with it, but I think if you do want one, I don't think you'd be disappointed at all. Because like I said, it's just big, it's imposing, and also the truck's massive as well. I do like the truck. But like I said, definitely a good one. But also, I did get this for less than a deluxe as well, so I think I do have a bit of a better opinion on it. But yeah, it's a good one. I definitely recommend it. And that does then bring us to the 19th and the 18th spot, because, well, it's the War for Cybertron Starscream and the War for Cybertron Skywarp, and they're just reprints of each other or redecos of each other. So it's one of those ones where, again, they stand next to each other. They're identical. But I will say I do prefer the Skywarp over the Starscream, because I really do like the rocket launcher, and I just prefer the purple and the black. So it's one of those ones where they're both really good. I do think they were the thing that really shifted the Gamer Edition line into really good figures. So I'm very happy with this one. It's one of those ones where, like, I think you could get either of them and you'd be very happy with them. I know Starscream's fairly cheap now, at least in the UK, and Skywarp will probably follow in suit. So I definitely reckon if you don't have them, I think you'd have a lot of fun with them, because they are just fantastic. But like I said, I do think I just prefer the Skywarp over the Scream, and also I can't wait for Thundercracker. So really good. I like the War for Cybertron line. Let me know if you want a video about the War for Cybertron line, because I have nothing but good things to say about it, especially considering, typically speaking, there's not much good said about them. But like I said, just let me know. But the 17th spot is actually going to go back to the Bayverse, and that is going to be going to the Revenge of the Fallen Megatron, or Studio Series 13. And it's just one of those ones where I finally picked it up, and it's got problems. It's hollow. It's reeks of early Studio Series. It's got a lot of, posability limitations. The paint's not the best, or lack of anyway. But I still love it. I had so much fun with it. The fusion cannon's a really nice accessory. It's nice kind of just having a Megatron that's more accurate for Revenge of the Fallen, because I love that design, and he doesn't have a little skimpy arm like the original leader did. But it's definitely one of those ones that I think is really good, and for the right price, it's definitely one I can recommend for anyone. Because, like I said, I really like the robot mode. The vehicle mode's really nice as well. Like I said, it's got its issues, but what Transformers figure doesn't? It's really good. I recommend it. I really do like that one. But we are slowly but surely getting to the top 10. And number 15 is actually going to be going to 86 Brawn, because I bought him very hesitantly, because it was one of those ones that I was just kind of expecting to not be the best, and I didn't really like how the back of his head looked. But I got it, and I've had so much fun with Brawl since. It's one of those ones that I have had so much fun transforming. It's a very satisfying transformation. The posability is nice. I like the paint. I like the accessory. It does everything it needs to do, and it does it right. And it's one of those ones that you can get relatively easily as well, and just looks great in the collection. Just as long as you don't get the dead one, because I have a whole separate issue with the dead crew packs, but But what a great figure. It's just one of those ones that I do wholeheartedly recommend. If you haven't got it, definitely pick it up. And now for the 14th slot, I think this is one that people would expect to be a little bit higher, because, well, this is definitely the highest of the Rise of the Beast figures, but it's one of those ones that I just don't really have a lot of good things to say about, and that is actually the Rise of the Beast Bumblebee. I'm actually holding him in my hand right now. I've been posing him for the last 20 characters, but he's one of those ones where he's good, he is fun to pose, I like his accessories, but I don't really like the transformation. I think the transformation is actually a little bit fiddly. I know a lot of people actually really like the transformation, but it's one of those ones that I just don't really like, and it's just one of those ones that I think were just a little bit better. But I do still like it. I do have the original one where the head is more yellow than it should be, but it's one of those ones where I have fun with it. I posed it a lot. I do think it's satisfying to handle. It's just not really one I transform. But other than that, it's good. It's probably not worth the price that people do ask for it, but if you've got the opportunity to get it, or if you do have it, you're not going to be mad. It's a really good Bumblebee. It's better than the original Clunker Bee, which I do actually still need to get as well, but I have handled that one before. But it's just one of those ones that I'm happy with. I'm just glad I didn't pay as much as some people are asking for it. Although, speaking of Bayverse, or the movie figures anyway, but one that I'm actually more than happy to pay for, it was actually the '07 Starscream. And even though obviously it's the 5-pack one, it is one that I was going to get before I even got the 5-pack, because it is heavily based off of the Dark of the Moon Deluxe, which I'm actually very nostalgic for. I actually really liked that one when I was younger. But it's one of those ones where I've picked it up. It's obviously just like a upscaled variant of it, but it's really good. It's such a fun Starscream, and he has his rocket launcher, which is a really nice accessory, and it's just overall a very fun figure. It's a satisfying transformation. It looks great. I definitely need the Revenge of the Fallen one, but if you haven't got this one and you don't want the 5-pack, definitely pick up the Voyager class Starscream, because he's affordable to get, and he's just fantastic. Although this might be the next of the controversial ones, because my number 12 is actually going to be the 86 Jazz from the 5-pack. And the thing is that you could make the exact argument that I made about Skids, which is that he's very simple, he's very basic, very generic. Like, if you're thinking of a car transformer, you're probably thinking of Jazz. But the thing is, it's a really good mold. It's really good. It's one of the ones I think of when I think of the 86 line, which is crazy because 10 years ago, I probably would have thought about the Generations Jazz as well for the standard of vehicle Transformers. But it's a really good finish. It's a really satisfying figure. It fixes all the problems of the original 86 Jazz because it's not going to yellow, all spark blue, no clear plastic. It's just exactly what you want in a Jazz, and it's just one of those ones that I wish they actually did release, because they re-released an 86 Jazz this year, but it's not the 5-pack variant. I'm just hoping it fixed all the problems of the original, because I do know people who want to pick it up, so I'm hoping they fix those problems. But honestly, if you are looking for a Jazz, this is definitely the one. It's just depending on how you can get it. But just not making its way into the top 10, which is unfortunate, it is the IDW Orion packs. And this is one of the ones that I actually made a review on. And if you haven't checked that out, please do, because it's one of those figures that I really do enjoy. And of course, it's based off of the Siege Hound, but it really does fit Orion. It is my Orion Pax. I don't think I'd ever divert from it. It's got a really nice axe. The gun is just the Hound gun, but it does fit Orion quite well. But it's got the Allspark blue, like I always say, a really nice red and blue on it. In my opinion, it's the perfect representation of Pax, and he looks really good next to the 86 Optimus, which, spoiler alert, is of course on this list. But it's just a really good figure, and it's definitely one that I do wholeheartedly recommend. Unfortunately, I don't have the Senator Shockwave. I didn't buy the actual 2-pack. I bought it separately. But honestly, if you need to get it through the 2-pack, because it is just the Siege mold, the Senator Shockwave, which is nice. But if you do need to get the 2-pack to get the Orion, and you're looking for the Orion, I wholeheartedly recommend this one because it's fantastic. But that does officially bring us into the top 10, and this might be recency bias, but my number 10 pick is actually going to be Windsweeper from the Doom and Destruction 2-pack. And that mostly does come down to the fact that I was not expecting to like it as much. I'm wondering if it's honestly recency bias, because I am having so much fun with the Needle Nose, or, well, the Needle Nose mold, I guess, or Windsweeper in general. He's just a lot of fun. The transformation's satisfying. It reminds me a lot of the 2005 Generations Universe Silverbolts, but it's still just really good. It does it all right. I was actually quite worried about owning the mold, but I see it. I understand why a lot of people say it's one of the best that came from Legacy, because it does everything right. The vehicle mode's great, the robot mode's great. I do actually, even though they're Micromasters, I actually really do like the weapons, but that's because they're chrome. But it does just do everything it needed to do correct, and I just was not expecting that at all. It ended up being the standout of the pack, because I initially got the pack 4 breakdown, but yeah, I'm just really happy with it. Honestly, if you don't own Needle Nose or any variant of this mold, definitely try it out. Coming from me, someone who didn't want it at all. But yeah, wholeheartedly recommend this. Honestly, I need to do a video on the Doom and Destruction 2-pack anyways, but just as a spoiler, I guess, the pack's brilliant. It's more than worth your money. But that does bring us to number 9, and another figure that I actually did do a review on, and that is actually the Bayverse Ironhide, because I got him for a good price this year, which was really nice, and it was one of the things that really kicked off me getting more Bayverse figures. But he's fantastic. He just does everything right. He does the Ironhide poses, he does amazing weapons, amazing vehicle mode, fun transformation, everything that you wanted from Ironhide. This is exactly what it needs. It's honestly better than the Masterpiece, I'm just gonna say it. But if you can get Ironhide for an affordable price, you will not be let down. And like I said, if you do want to see my thoughts more on him, definitely check out the video I made about him, because I absolutely love this figure. I've been messing with that figure since that review. I will continue to mess with that figure. Just, it's everything right. Everything done right in a figure. But speaking of everything done right, it's not actually the number 8 pick. But for number 8, it is actually going to be going to Animated Optimus. And this was one I nearly did a review on. But the thing is that I had so much fun with Optimus when I first got him. I don't think I put him down for like 2 weeks. He's big, he's blocky, he's everything you want in an Optimus. He's fun to pose, the axe is amazing, transformation is satisfying. Everything that you want, honestly, Animated Optimus has. And you can get him for a good price nowadays. So he's one of those ones that, again, I do fully recommend. I don't know what else to say about him. He just does all the Prime stuff correctly, I guess. And like I said, I couldn't put him down for the longest time. I know a lot of people prefer Motormaster now. Obviously, it's Redeco. But I really do like Optimus. I don't think I'd get the Motormaster because I've got the G1 variant, or the Legacy one. But yeah, just pick up this mold in general. I don't know which one you get, but pick it up. It's really good. I wholeheartedly recommend it. Although, speaking of recommend it, I will say number 7 is definitely going to have to go to Windblade, because, again, I had so much fun with Windblade. Where I didn't put Optimus down for about 2 weeks, I didn't put down Windblade for probably about 2 months, because she was so much fun to pose. She does everything that you want her to do. She's nimble, her transformation is satisfying, her weapon's amazing, the storage is amazing. Everything you want is in Windblade. And like I said, I did a review on it. So again, check that one out. I know that's one of the videos that I don't think did too well on my channel, but I don't mind. I enjoyed the review anyway. It's a good review. Please check it out. But like I said, really good. Windblade is absolutely fantastic. It's definitely one of those ones you should definitely check out. And I'm definitely picking up Slipstream very soon. But number 6, again, might be a little bit controversial, but I'm going to be going with the Prime Cliffjumper. And I didn't pick up the 4-pack. Luckily, I picked it up separately on eBay. But I really like Cliffjumper. I never picked up Chase, I will say. But as soon as Chase released, I kind of just knew that they were going to be doing Cliffjumper. So I enjoy it. I really do like it. I think it's a really good version of the mold. I know people don't like the weird wing things he has on his back, but they don't really get in the way. I do think Cliffjumper is a fantastic buy. If you don't want to buy that Cliffjumper Dies pack, definitely pick up maybe just Chase. I'd say just experience the mold in general. It's one of those ones that I think are really fun to handle. Like I said, satisfying transformation. Both modes look fantastic. Great articulation, nice weapon, everything you just kind of want in a Transformer figure. And like I said, for a deluxe as well, it's good. If you can pick him up for deluxe price on a separate listing, you won't be disappointed at all. Although, there is a deluxe class coming up that's just much better, so let's get into that, although it's not the next one. But that does bring us to the top 5, and honestly, all 5 of these I consider completely perfect. I think all of them are more than worth the prices that I paid for them, and are all just fantastic in their own way. And you already know some of them, I know that for a fact, but there's one in here that I know for a fact you're not going to expect. But number 5 is actually going to be Siege Jetfire, the first official commander class in the new age of Transformers. And I got the reissue that came out this year of him, or last year of him, and I've been loving him ever since. I know a lot of people had QC issues with him, but I didn't, which is nice. But he has got so much going for him. He's absolutely fantastic. He's fun to handle. Tons of accessories. He's got all the G1 stuff. He's got all the guns. He's got everything that you would want in a commander class. He certainly justifies that price point. But I will say, even though the jet mode as well is fun and the transformation's also really good as well, I will say it's not the best commander class from the year, if you couldn't already tell. But I will get to him in a minute. Let's get to number 4 first. And number 4 is actually going to be a legacy character. That's a deluxe class, and if you successfully guessed it, fair play to you. But number 4 is gonna go to Gears, because he is so much fun. I've had him for about half of the year now, and I will say, I don't think there's a week that goes by where I don't mess with him for at least 20 minutes, because robot mode is fantastic, completely posable, like not much kibble either. The gun is fantastic. Posability is fantastic. Transformation is so fun as well. And the vehicle mode is fantastic. It is honestly potentially one of the best things that's come out of Legacy. I think he does everything basically perfectly. I cannot think of a single complaint. So if you don't own Gears, you need to own him. He is, like I said, I genuinely consider him perfect. I don't have a single issue with Gears. And he is cheap, which is crazy. So get Gears. If there's anything you take from this video, buy Gears. I cannot believe how great he is. But he is the number 4 pick. There are somehow 3 that are better than him, but you will see why. And the number 3 is actually going to go to another legacy character, and it's actually going to go to Bludgeon, because I absolutely adore this figure. I will say I do own Tarn. They are both stood next to each other, but I will say, how do you make any mold better? You give him a sword, because this is exactly the definition of taking a fantastic mold and just making it better. Because I love Tarn, I absolutely adore my Tarn, but I always said the problem I had with him is that I never had a melee weapon for him, and this just fixed the exact problem I had. So yeah, I consider Bludgeon near enough perfect. I have so much fun posing him. He does every pose that you would physically want from him. There is nothing wrong with him whatsoever. The vehicle mode is a hit or miss, I will say, but the robot mode, in my opinion, more than makes up for it. And like I said, he just stands out. He looks amazing in any sort of pose. I think I posed him a couple times anyway. I think you can find him in my Megatron review. But like I said, if there's anything you can take, buy Bludgeon. Please, just buy Bludgeon. He is absolutely fantastic. I cannot recommend him enough. And like I said, I love Tarn, but Bludgeon's definitely better purely because of the sword. Tarn, I actually ended up giving him the Bumblebee movie Soundwave, his blaster, because that really does complement Tarn. But like I said, the sword just makes it perfect and is just one that I think is absolutely amazing. But that is the number 3. But taking the number 2 spot is going to be 86 Optimus. There is something in my opinion that is better that I know for a fact that no one knows is on this list. But 86 Optimus, in my opinion, is the perfect G1 Prime. I can't say anything that no one has already said about him, so I will say that. This is going to be very short, because what can I say about him that hasn't already been said? He does everything amazing, tons of amazing accessories, more than worth the Commander class in my opinion. He does everything that you could ever want, and he was leaked playing a piano, so that just makes it even better. But like I said, I don't know what more I could physically say about it. The only thing maybe is that I wish his Matrix was the Allspark Blue Matrix, the one that came with Galvatron, but that is so nitpicky. That is just beyond nitpicky. He is literally perfect outside of that. There is not a single issue with 86 Prime. And I know it's a Commander class, so it's difficult to justify recommending him. But if you can justify spending 90 or however much it is in your currency, please do it. Because he is, in my opinion, the perfect Transformer. But there is one that is better. And that does lead us to the number 1 spot. And it is kind of unfair, because I considered not putting this character in the list, but I did buy him this year. But honestly, if you are going to not consider this character on my list, just know that 86 Prime is the best of the year, which isn't exactly a new opinion to say the least. But my number 1 pick for the year is, of course, going to be my Holy Grail, because I finally bought him this year, and that is the Transformers Prime First Edition Optimus. I finally got him, because when I was a wee lad, I was always in love with that figure, and I never got my hands on him. Back when Transformers Prime was coming out, I got the RID one, I got the Cyberverse, I got the Beast Hunter one. I never got First Edition, and it was always one that I wanted to get. Well, this year, I finally got him, and I genuinely couldn't be happier with the fact that I finally got my hands on my Holy Grail. It is perfect. He does everything I wanted to do. He looks absolutely fantastic. I pose him on his own because he needs that, but he looks fantastic. He's basically perfect. Accessories are amazing. If you want a review, please let me know, because I will spend more than enough time talking about how fantastic he is. But of course, he's going to be my number 1 pick of the year. It feels almost cheap, but it is what it is. It's my video. But that was my look at all of the Transformers figures that I bought over the course of 2024. And let me know which ones you got, which ones you want to get, or which ones you wish I do have from that year, because I'll always take recommendations, to say the least. But that was my look, and that was my opinion. It felt brief, but like I said, there was a lot of figures to go through, so I thought I'd keep it more clear and concise. But that is about it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Take care. Okay,